I can't hear a thing.
I've got you now.
Been better if I'd have done that when it's not on mute, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Tim, Gids, and then we'll go to the Scribblers and then the Sunday Scribblers. If anybody wants a broadcast version of it, let me know. And please keep it off social media until Chris is done. Tim, when you're ready.
Morning, Chris, you okay?
Yeah, morning, Tim.
Chris, performances so far have been better than results. So is it now just about maintaining that strong mentality and doing whatever it takes to dig out that first win?
I think watching our group over the period, the 3 or 4 years, and especially recently, I think everybody would accept to get to the position that they have done. They have to be, the mentality of the group has got to be really strong, which it is. I'm with them daily, so I know what they're all about. Of course, it's not the start that we wanted. Performance levels, as everybody's talked about, even our opponent up in West Yorkshire, which I think is absolutely fabulous, a refreshing change for me. That after him watching the game back, he saw the game in the same light as what I did. I've got an awful amount of respect, as I said, about Marcello. We had 2 terrific games with them in the Championship, and they won a tight game. So all the games in the Premier League are going to be tight, as they have been for us so far this season. But we're here to pick up results as well as play well, and I'm looking for that balance of a decent performance, which allows us the opportunity to get a result on the board. And unfortunately, at the moment we haven't, but we have to believe that the next game is one that we can do.
Transfer deadline day is looming.
You just set that question up at the start, didn't you? To drag me into your main question, didn't you? Really? Come on, be honest about it.
Let me ask you my main question then, please.
Yes.
Rhian Brewster, have you agreed a deal with Liverpool, and would you expect that to go through today?
I can't confirm that it's all been done, but we have been in negotiations with Liverpool for a while. He has been on our radar. And discussions between the player and the club are still ongoing. So nothing to announce just this minute, but we have, and we are down the line. So obviously, when that happens, I can confirm that. But as we are at this particular time, nothing over the line.
How much of a lift would a new signing give everyone at this stage, do you think, if you can get this or another deal through?
Yeah, we're always trying to bring better players into the football club and ones that improve the group, and it's certainly a position that I've looked at on reflection from last year, chances that we created. I've been disrespectful to our players in that area. It's an area that we have to improve. We have to be more clinical. We have to bring more competition into that area. Then we tick boxes in terms of the types of forwards that we need for different games. We can't just go with 2 right the way through, as we do play 2 up front. All of the players, it was their first season in the Premier League, so difficult for them. But certainly on reflection through the season, and I've said consistently, we need to bring somebody in. So we've had to work extremely hard to identify players, but certainly it would give a boost to the players in the group. But they don't really need a boost as well, because they understand the situation they're in. They're disappointed as me. The reaction at the final whistle after the game and in the changing room, I'm not surprised about. They're not jumping through hoops and thinking about what they're going to do later on in the day. They're desperately disappointed, but they have to overcome that. So they don't need a lift. But certainly bringing a better player into the group will improve us and give us a better opportunity to get results.
Have you made any headway in the search for a replacement for Jack O'Connell? And how much of a challenge is it when you're sort of trying to marry up a striker and a defender with the budget that you've got?
A huge challenge, and a challenge that possibly, 90% of the Premier League don't have. But I'm not moaning about it. I'm thankful of the support that the owners have given me through my period as Sheffield United manager. I always try to do the best, not to tip them upside down, but to realistically, tell them what we need and what I believe that we need. So deeply disappointing news for the football club regarding Jack, who's been fabulous for us, and as I said afterwards, hugely disappointing news for Jack himself. But if we can't replace, which we're trying to, we have to look from within and find an answer and solution with the players that we've got. But of course, as I've said, to go out and just to write a cheque for X amount of pounds, and it's not just the cheque; it's the wages as well that we've got to keep an eye on. There's players going out there, as you know, for decent chunk of change from a fee point of view, but the wages situation is incredible. None so much so than who we're playing on Sunday. When you hear about the figures that are being bandied about, even for players that are not even getting in the 18, that just shows how powerful and how wealthy the division is.
Final one from me. A lot of discussions this week about the handball rule again. We are expecting to see a slight change of approach this weekend. Do you welcome that? And long term, does the rule need to change?
Well, we've suffered everything else from VAR and other decisions that haven't been explained to me. So we're waiting for that handball situation to just be around the corner for us. So if the rules have changed for the benefit of it, then we'll gladly accept that. I think it's just been a ridiculous situation. You're just scratching your head about some of the decisions that are being made, and I think we're all in the same opinion. I'm just not sure on these panels that make these decisions. Is there somebody that's played in the top level or played at any sort of level and played 500 league games or Premier League games that's involved in this and can give a viewpoint from a player's point of view and maybe an ex-manager who might be, for one reason or the other, playing a lot of golf or retired because he feels it's a little bit too much for him, or maybe out of work that can help and aid and give him maybe a view from the people I believe that matter most, which are the players and maybe the people that are involved in coaching and management.
Cheers, Chris. All the best this weekend.
Cheers, Tim.
Hi, Chris. It's Andy here. Hope you're well. Just to follow on from that, then, I mean, have you had that phone call with Mike Riley yet that we were talking about last Sunday afternoon?
No.
Wow. Are you surprised by that?
Yeah. I mean, I've got a lot on at the moment, as you can imagine, but as you can imagine, my phone's always on. So I was told I was getting one. So I think when you get told from the Premier League that you're going to receive a phone call, then I would expect that to happen. But it hasn't happened. It's been over a week, so I don't know whether they got the ump with me because I mentioned it to you guys, which I'm always going to, and why shouldn't I?
Were you in any way heartened by the fact that, you've got a lot of other Premier League managers right now essentially voicing the same concerns as you, not a couple of hours after what happened at you and I talking, there was something in the Newcastle game that there's a group of managers now all kind of wanting change. Yeah,
because I think if you sat a group of managers, if you sat the 20 Premier League managers inside Stockley Park and sat 20 experienced players inside Stockley Park, I believe that 90% of the decisions they would agree on. The foul on Xander Berg, they would agree on. From our point of view, the foul on John Egan or that situation, they would agree on. The ball that crossed the line, they'd agree on. The penalty that should have been resulted in, they would agree on. And so, as I've just said regarding that, there's certain players that maybe have just retired from being, regular Premier League players, and obviously I believe that there's a few managers out there that would like to help the game, and that's all we're after: helping the game to making the right decisions. The right decisions on VAR and how far it goes back, and is that gone outside the time limit or is it inside the time limit? And I believe there are always going to be conversations, possibly not in the pub as it used to be, because we're living in a different world now. But there's always going to be discussions about refereeing decisions, but it just seems to overtake the game now, in my opinion, and I think that's really sad. And I believe the same for every other manager as well. Players don't want to talk about it. Managers really don't want to talk about it, because I can imagine everybody's bored about it. But we get asked continually about our opinions, and we're obliged, and rightly so, to give our opinions on it. And I'm bored about talking about VAR, about Stockley Park, about rubbish decisions that we all deal with, and talk about my team and the major bit, which is the football bit, and what we need to do to get a result at Arsenal, and what players are we signing, and who's doing well and who needs to do a little bit better, and should I do this from a tactical point of view, or a technical point of view, or a selection point of view, or am I doing that from those parts of the game? Not continually talking about this, but it just seems to be the norm in every presser before, during, and after a game.
Afraid so. So what do you think?
I think that's it, and it is. I'm afraid so. I think you are. I bet you're bored in asking me the questions on it.
If you're asking, yes, I am.
Yeah,
because I'd change the whole thing.
We all are. Yeah. We want to talk about, situations in football. Who we're signing, who we're not signing, or parts of the game, or refreshing parts of the game that I said about, Marcelo looking at the game and going, yeah, well, I thought at the end that we thought we deserved to win it, but looking back at that, it was a really tight game, or some sort of individual brilliance that you see and go, what about that? How good is that? Or some emerging young player that's coming through. Let's talk about Dominic Calvert-Lewin. The part that Sheffield United have played in his development, and how brilliant it is for a Sheffield boy to be absolutely, ripping it up in the Premier League. And I'm disappointed that he hadn't got a red and white striped shirt on, but obviously everybody knows that situation at the time, and what we needed to do with him and Brooksy and Che Adams and even Aaron Ramsdale, and how proud his parents are that a young kid from Sheffield is making the England squad. These are the things for me that we should be talking about and concentrating on and focusing on, and not continually talking about other situations that really should be happening once every 3 or 4 games. I've managed a load of games. I'm sure that I've and obviously the media scrutiny that this division brings up, I understand that things will be more talked about, but not to the level and extent that they are getting talked about at this particular moment.
So as we're talking about tactics then, and Arsenal and facing the Gunners on Sunday, what more do you want to see from your team if they're to get a result down there?
The shape of the team's good. Leeds are a high-tempo, high-pressing team, and will play in a different way to Arsenal. Arsenal are a more counter-attacking team, so that poses different challenges. At the top of the pitch, they've got some outstanding talents, and invested unbelievably so in fees and wages, eye-watering wages at times. But this is what we're up against. No good moaning about it. These are the challenges that it faces me and my coaching team, and my players going into the game. They've obviously got more structure about them. You can see that. They're more difficult to play against. They defend from the front. They all have individual roles, jobs and responsibilities to keep the ball out the back of the net in the structure of a team. But then they possess players that going forward are positive, and players that can hurt any team in the Premier League, as seen by their recent results. So a huge challenge for us. It doesn't get any easier. Leeds United, it's not easy. Villa have had an excellent start. It doesn't get any easier. You look at our fixture list, but we're up for the fight. The players are in a good place from a mentality point of view. I'm not sensing anybody feeling sorry for themselves. I've received a couple of calls this week from people in the game and managers that I've worked with, and they look at the team and give the same opinion what I'm seeing, that we're not a million miles off a result. Us getting a result at Arsenal on Sunday, I keep saying, won't be the biggest result in world football, and we've got to believe that we can go there and be good out of possession, and be good in possession, pick the right team, and hopefully get something from the game and kickstart our season, because certainly that has been the disappointing aspect, is that the performances really should have warranted a little bit more in terms of the points total that it's got.
Just finally from me, Jack O'Connell then was due to have his op in the week. Are the timescales for his absence, as we discussed last weekend, correct then? 6 months or so? Yes,
same Andy. No complications with the operation as far as the consultant was concerned, and the specialist. There was nothing when you got inside the knee that was untoward. What they was expecting was what happened, and the operation went straight forward. So Jack's in good spirits. It's obviously disappointing, but he'll be fine. He's a tough cookie, as we all are. It's a tough time for us at the football club. Tough time for Jack in his situation. Tough time for, I should imagine, the supporters, because it's not the start that we all wanted and expected. But we've been through worse periods than this, and it won't last forever. I keep saying, tough times don't last forever. But if you're tough and you've got the experience, you do come through it, and we will come through it. So there's things that are going against us, and we've got to dig in a little bit more, tighten up a little bit more, give a little bit more. But we've had a really positive week on the training ground. Everybody's pushing. Nobody's going individual. A favourite one is no terrorists in the group. I don't sign terrorists, and there's not any in the group that undermine anything that we're doing. We're all together, and that's how it always has been and always will be here at Sheffield United. So we're all pulling in the same direction, and hopefully we can do that on Sunday to get a result.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Cheers, Andy.
No other broadcast, so we might as well go to the Scribblers. We'll embargo this until 10:50.